And this afternoon, conflicting account of what influenced the resignation of former majority leader Kyei Mensah Bonsu. While MPP national organizer Henry Nana Boakye says his commitment as chairman of the party's manifesto committee prompted his resignation, Director of Communications for the MPP campaign team Dennis Miracles Abuaje says otherwise.
Has approved the following names to constitute the of Parliament. Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin will be our new majority leader.
There are members of the manifesto committee, as was issued, who are equally holding other positions in government and in parliament.
Also, heavy carbohydrate diet among Ghanaians predisposing large number of the youth to stroke and other lifestyle diseases. We'll hear from the Cardiology Society on how you can stay healthy.
We are seeing a lot of heart attack. We get caught every now and then, people having heart attack.
And later in the bulletin, wildlife experts warn of a possible invasion of snakes and other reptiles into homes for shelter as Ghana experiences a rise in weather temperature. We'll tell you how you can stay safe. So be here. This is The Pulse, brought to you always by Global Communities, Dignilu, affordable sanitation for all. Stay with us for the details of all these stories and more. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Well, this afternoon, conflicting account of what influenced the resignation of former majority leader Kyei Mensah Bonsu. While MPP national organizer Henry Nana Boakye says his commitment as chairman of the party's manifesto committee prompted his resignation, Director of Communications for the NPP campaign team Dennis Miracles Abuaje says otherwise. We'll hear from him shortly. First, listen to Kyei Mensah Bonsu explain why he had to step aside as majority leader. In his own words, he wanted peace to prevail.
Let me take the opportunity to thank you for the cooperation and collaboration that existed between you and I over the entire period that our paths crossed here in Parliament. We have worked together to uplift the status of the Ghanaian Parliament in many endeavors and much more, especially latterly, since you assumed the position of the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker, human as you and I are, we have occasionally disagreed, but even in the state of disagreement, the kernel of the matter has always been how to reform the system for a better way that will affect the affairs of Parliament. On the part of my colleagues in the majority, I express tons of appreciation for the trust reposed in me, beginning as caucus secretary under the Venerable Kyei Mensah, Deputy Whip, Chief Whip, Deputy Majority Leader, Minority Leader for 8 years, and Majority Leader for 7 years and now 2 months. I guess this is unprecedented in the history of Ghana's parliamentary democracy. Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleagues for always being there for me and for the cause of the party and government. I will entreat my colleagues to offer the same assistance and support to my successor in order to successfully prosecute the remaining agenda of government. In my capacity as leader of my caucus, in minority and majority, as a leader, I've had to work with many of my compatriots on the other side of the political divide, majority and minority leaders from the NDC, beginning with your good self, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Bagbin, ASK Bagbin, the Speaker in your life before life. Cletus Voka, my eternal friend, Dr. Benjamin Kumwo, the Honorable Harry Nadrusu, and now the Honorable Atufosi. Casey, Doctor. In the case of all these people, we have developed a very cordial working relationship, even though we belong to different sides of the political spectrum. And the working relationship, the Speaker, has translated into such close relationship that sometimes people begin to think that perhaps we are hiding something from the rest of the members of Parliament. But it's all to encourage a smooth transition of government business and indeed the course of the country in Parliament.
Now, there's been speculations also Kyei Mensah Bonsu was forced to resign an MP for Achem Swedro. Kennedy Osei this afternoon confirmed to journalists in Parliament that their former leader was forced out. Parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante joins us with more. Kweku, this is the first time an insider has confirmed what many suspect may have been the case. What is the mood in the House?
This morning, before the proceedings started in the chamber, Kennedy Osei told journalists that although Kyei Mensah Bonsu was removed, he believed that he had acted in a way that was cordial, that in expectation in terms of what exactly should happen on the floor of the House. Kyei Mensah Bonsu had rallied all of them to support Alexander Afenyo-Markin. So the process actually went on in the House. MPs now have to come to terms with the new leader of the House in the person of Alexander Afenyo-Markin. Kyei Mensah Bonsu today handed over to him officially, introduced him to his new seat, the black chair in the majority caucus. So it's been cordial. It was a little bit emotional, somewhat, in the House when Kyei Mensah Bonsu was reading his address to members of Parliament, because for so many, he has been used as they've been used to him as the leader of the NPP caucus since 2009. He has either been minority leader or minority leader, and that is like for 15 years now. And he has also served in other leadership capacities, chief whip, deputy whips, among others. So for Kyei Mensah Bonsu to finally today take a bow and be introduced as the former majority leader, many people could not come to terms with that. And when he finished his address, members from both the minority and majority side gave him a round of applause. They stood up, standing ovation, and he has now taken a new seat behind the new leadership of Parliament.
It will be an emotional day in Parliament, and of course, it will take some time to come to terms with it. But there's one key thing that happened: that the first Deputy Speaker, Joe Osei, and the Honourable Apia Kubi were both not in the House today. Many have been asking, do we know why?
Well, the two have been I should say, one of the very vocal persons who have as it were, supported Kyei Mensah Bonsu as majority leader and kicked against the decision by certain elements within the party to seek to get him out of office. And so when proceedings started, whilst it was underway, both gentlemen were not on the floor. Later on, Andy Apia Kubi actually came in, but the first Deputy Speaker, who was actually being the most vocal in speaking about his indignation about how this process has been managed, did not come up to the chamber at all. In fact, yesterday, he was the one who presided over the House up until when it ended yesterday. He did speak to journalists yesterday and spoke about how he was disappointed that Kyei Mensah Bonsu had decided to resign. He was clearly disappointed, not excited about the decision to resign. That also been talking about the explanation that has been offered by some that Kyei Mensah Bonsu had to resign to be able to take up the chairmanship of the Manifesto Committee. So as far as he was concerned, that did not make sense because Kyei Mensah Bonsu is a really hardworking person who could do both, could juggle both at the same time. It's one person who could sit from morning to the next morning, if there was work to be done. So that did not make quite a lot of sense to him. But today he was not in Parliament. He was a notable absence in Parliament today. Of course, some have interpreted that to mean that it was because of his opposition to the changes that have been made in Parliament today. But of course, we've not officially heard a word from him. But he was not in Parliament today, Grace.
It will be such an emotional period because this is a man, like you said, people have come to know him in that leadership in the House. With the words he gave today, him bowing out and giving the seat to Afenyo-Markin, it would, exude some sort of emotions on the part of, especially the majority. Did you witness, some of these giggles or possibly some emotional expression of how people saw the last days of Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu?
Well, it was a quiet chamber whilst he addressed the House. Both members from the minority and majority benches, the sides, were very quiet. All throughout, whilst he was speaking, everybody was quiet. And you could sense the emotions written all over members of Parliament, some of them very quiet, crouched in their seats and looking at the days where Kyei Mensah Bonsu was and addressing MPs on why he had to resign, like he said, for peace to prevail in his caucus. Of course, that gave an inkling that this is not something he wanted to do, but he had to do so because he wanted peace to prevail. He also said it was because he needed to give his party the chance to break the eight. And if staying on will bring a lot of rancor among his ranks, that will make it difficult for the party to break the eight, then he had decided to take the jump. And so he has taken the jump. MPs were quiet from the majority side. For so many of them, they just can't come to terms. It will take some time for them to be able to grapple with the state of affairs in the House now that he will not be the one leading them to transact government business and other business in Parliament, and that it will be someone else. In fact, today, there was some issue about who the leader of government business will be, and he actually had to stand up and explain a few things. But as an ordinary member of Parliament, not as the majority leader who used to have the final say on how things go on the floor of the House. So, in fact, even for so many of us who were in the public and press galleries, you could not be lost on the emotions that were all over, especially when he ended the speech, came back to pick his files from the majority leader's desk and put it behind him and now give the seat to Alexander Afenyo-Markin. It was truly an emotional roller coaster in the chamber today.
Kweku, do stay with me. The MPP national organizer, Henry Nanabuachi, in his attempt to explain why Kyei Mensah Bonsu tendered in his resignation, said his commitment as chairman of the party's manifesto committee prompted his decision. Listen.
That the National Council has approved the following names to constitute the leadership of Parliament. Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin will be our new majority leader. We know the experience he's coming with. He's a very dedicated, sharp, committed, intelligent young man, and he's taking over from, these are huge shoes. Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu, his commitment and his intellect when it comes to parliamentary duties will be celebrated, not only in Ghana, but across the globe. So Honorable Afenyo-Markin will take his place as the new majority leader. And then we have another affable lady, mother for all, very welcoming, very warm person, Honorable Patricia Appiagyei, who is the MP for Asokwa, will be majority leader. We have the chief whip. It is still Honorable Anand Prayer, who is the MP for Nsawam Adwejiri. Honorable Patricia Appiagyei is the MP for Asokwa. We have Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, MP 2, and then we again the first deputy will be the MP for Honorable Habib Idrisu will still be, in fact, he will be the first deputy or first deputy speaker, sorry. And then we have another new face, a new addition, the person of the MP for Akontom, Honorable Alex Tete, Junubua will be the second deputy whip. So this is the new approved leadership of the majority caucus in Parliament.
So
an official statement.
The question is, why wasn't there the need for you to reconstruct Parliament? Is there any special reason aside what we are hearing in the rumors that the current or the outgone majority leader was somehow forced? You heard the minority in Parliament saying that he was ousted from his position. Why did you have to constitute this team?
No, he was not ousted. You notice that he voluntarily stepped down from his position. Now he's taking another important position. Now he is the chairman for MPP's manifesto committee, and again he will still be the minister in charge of parliamentary affairs. So for us, that is okay. It's a new mandate. I mean, change is good. We have consensus building on this particular matter. It's still there. Although he is not contesting again, his experience is still there for everybody to tap in. For us, he served the country well, he served Parliament very well, he served the party very well, and he will continue to do so. There is still energy in him. As I said, I would even always advocate that he start writing a book. I mean, he will be celebrated for the work that he's done. So it was out of pure consensus building. All right.
But Director of Communications for the NPP campaign team, Dennis Merakoz-Abuaji, says Kyei Mensah Bonsu's new role has nothing to do with his resignation.
There are members of the manifesto committee, as was issued, who are equally holding other positions in government and in parliament. And so I don't think that is the case. I mean, the vice chairman of the committee is Honorable Kujo, who is a cabinet minister for Western Housing, and is a member of parliament as well, and serves on so many other committees in parliament. So the happenings in parliament have no direct connection with the composition of the manifesto committee at all, because you could still hold whichever position you have in the executive or legislative and still play your role and support the drafting of the manifesto.
And so you're confirming that he's assuming the role of chairman had nothing to do with the resignation that happened. Some have already linked it. That's why he has moved on.
Well, from the flag bearer's perspective, he believes that Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu has very deep knowledge and understanding of various sectors of our economy due to his long-standing years of service in Parliament and leadership in Parliament. He has seen several bills enacted into acts. He's seen several agreements. He's seen several issues across sectors pass through Parliament. And so if you are looking for that one person that will lead and have a bird's eye view of every single sector in the drafting of the manifesto, and I don't think there's any dispute about the quality of the contribution that Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu brings to bear when it comes to the drafting of this 2024 manifesto. And that is purely the basis on which the flag bearer selected him to play that role and nothing else.
Well, let's bring in someone who has a lot of understanding in terms of the political landscape of this country. Dr. Kwesi Amache-Boateng, a senior lecturer at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and he doubles as a political analyst. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us. I mean, you've seen how this has played out. A lot of people have had their say in terms of how it will impact, the majority side in Parliament. But what to you is that thing that will probably, or how this decision, how this has played out, impact on the majority side's work in the House?
Let me say good afternoon to you and your viewers. and also to express my appreciation for having me. I think it will have a short-term sort of a negative impact. It will come to some people as a shock. Those who were with Honorable Joe Owusu, when he announced that there was no such shake-up in the party, the structure of the party in Parliament had not changed, and that the parliamentary caucus were there and were effecting such change when the need came up. All those people definitely were not on board of the
decision-making process.
Yes, a backstage, if you like, politics that went on, which culminated in this particular decision. I'll call it backstage because the way they went about it, the way everything unfolded, information that came public, the way they came, all provide indications, to this understanding that it did not necessarily come up as a major rational decision that the party was taking because of any known reason, justification. I'd like to believe that all those people were taken aback. So because of that, I expect some short-term, effects on the members of parliament, the way they go about their activities, having to relate to the new leadership that have come up all of a sudden without their knowledge, without their understanding. They had no word in it. And so obviously there was no sort of opportunity for them to contribute to it. You can't talk about consensus. They never, all those decisions never came out of, generalized understanding of the party. So it will really have some effect for a while, and then later they will come to terms with it.
But the party had said that, in fact, the members of parliament themselves brought it to the National Council meeting, and they thought that, well, they couldn't have allowed it. So it looks like the action itself is emanating from the House, the Parliament House itself.
I like to believe that that was not necessarily the case.
Okay.
Some of us are privy to some information that, gave indications to the fact that the Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu himself was not necessarily in the known, that he was outside the country. He himself got to know about those, if you like, developments, and in fact, questioned, some officers in their party as to what was going on. So if you say that it emanated from the parliament, it becomes a difficult thing to, work with. I don't think so.
Well, there are a lot of issues that have come up from this particular announcement, but the new leader has a huge task. It looks as though it is not everybody who is backing him. What must he do to ensure that he has everyone on the boat in the last few months that they have in parliament, as on the majority that we don't know how the 2024 election is going to go. But in these last few months, what must he do to have everybody backing him?
I see this as an uphill task for the new leader, given the fact that his name came up as, one of the people who informed the media as to the impending arrangements. Given and the understanding that goes with this is that he knew about it, and ordinarily one would have expected him to, make inquiries of his boss, whether, that his boss was being, if you like, promoted. He was being given some other position. He ordinarily, you expect him to engage him to find out what is happening. I've been told, of this and of that. What exactly is your position of this? He didn't do that, and he had accepted, to take over from him and had gone ahead to inform some media people. So he's going to have, a difficulty trying to explain himself. I like to believe that the Times themselves will speak to the party members in parliament that they can't afford to allow their ranks to, be split, and that it serves their own interest for them to, stick together and try to make things work out as if they all were on board the decision. I think the Times called for, the members of the MPP in parliament to really, take things as they are and move on.
Okay. Now, we also made to understand that the former majority leader, Kyei Mensah Bonsu, still holds on to his portfolio as a Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. How does that, how can he and the majority leader work such that there won't be conflicting roles in the House?
I think the new majority leader will have to, take things easy and quietly, take leads from Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu and consciously avoid coming into some sort of conflict, a head-on collision or a clash with him. We want to do that so that they all tread their paths properly as much as possible.
Okay. Now, we saw that, and people ascribe that to it, that it looks like the Ashanti caucus were not happy with the changes. Today in the House, the First Deputy Speaker, Joe Wise, Joe Osei-Usu, was not there. It has gotten people talking. From your perspective, how will this impact the party's chances in the Ashanti region? Because already we know that the Alan Charante factor is playing out so well there. So how does this also aggravate the party's issues that it has in the Ashanti region?
Well, even besides the Alan factor, there's this other factor that people are, not satisfied with the level of development that the region has, received. And so that was already an issue before the Alan factor came in. And then later, we had this Alan thing and now this issue. And I would like to believe that some of those people involved in these issues also have spoken to some journalists in Kumasi. That is it initially when the whole thing came up. And so people know here in Kumasi that there is this understanding that you have too many Ashantis holding various, positions of trust in the party, and that there was the need to do some sort of reshuffle to balance, the power basis in the party. This might not necessarily, affect the core party faithfuls, but somehow Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu will have to consciously play down this whole issue himself and not let it show in his body language in any way when it comes to Ashanti region. Otherwise, he has also got some following. He has also got some following who might also become disaffected and possibly, this also, translating into things that the party will not anticipate, things that the party will not expect. If it should really translate into votes, then that will become very unfortunate. Otherwise, it might not become a big issue if they play it out well. I don't think this will add up to the challenges related to bread and butter that people, are so concerned about it. Now, I think those things will continue to dominate the headlines, bread and butter issues.
How will this also impact the standing orders that, both sides have been debating about it? Last time we saw the Speaker of Parliament clashing with the First Deputy Speaker about the involvement of the party. Is it time for that to be looked at again to say that, well, the nomination should be coming from the House itself, for the party to then bless it, than what it is now that the party will have to make decisions in that regard for those in Parliament?
I think this issue has come up because it has come up now. And so obviously the two parties will have to or want to get it streamlined so that going forward, it will not, degenerate into the furore that we are experiencing now. The parties obviously don't need anything at all that would break their ranks, whether they are in government or in opposition. So I think they will streamline this issue. Obviously, you can't say that the party should be taken out completely. But I think they will streamline it, meet as a body, and possibly together take a decision going forward concerning these issues. What happened in the NPP is an interesting thing. You get an understanding that some, power blocks in the party decided to pull some strings, and then it has come to stay. I'd like to believe that that is what caused, those who were with Honorable Joe Osei-Usu to come out and relate to the issue the way they did. His body language was tough and strong. And you could see that they completely, rejected what was going on. They were not in the know. I think that is what, was very unfortunate. In future, I think the party want to sit down and take decisions of this nature. When they do, I think their misunderstandings will, stay at the decision-making grounds. And that is normal with every major decision in any organization. You can't get everybody to support it. But then at the end of the day, when a decision is taken, it becomes binding. When they go about it, in future, I think this issue would have been, the problem taking decisions of this nature would have been addressed.
How different is this from, so many years ago when Kyei Mensah was being made the leader? I mean, is there any difference in how that was done and now, such that, the party needs to do more work to ensure this does not happen again?
Seriously, I don't recall the circumstances that brought him into that position. But obviously what is happening now is something that they are not familiar with, something that they are not pleased with. Obviously, they want to go about it in a proper fashion next time. It should be a major decision-making process for the whole party, both the party as well as their, members of parliament, collectively as a party taking a decision that they are all interested in.
All right, interesting. Let's see how this plays out, in the entire course. You are saying that the party may not lose any vote in the Ashanti region because of this. They handle it well. If they are not able to, probably it will bite them hard. But let's see how the party will handle this. because in this election, you're looking for numbers. So if in your stronghold, certain decisions will let you lose votes, then you have to ensure you take good care of you manage it well. Now, from how you are in the Ashanti region, you understand it so well. You know what's happening there. Don't you have any feeling or haven't you heard that possibly this, however they handle it, could probably lead them to lose certain votes?
My position is that the party is already reeling from major issues. And the current issue doesn't come anywhere near the magnitude of the two major issues that the party is already facing in the Ashanti region. What took out Alan, and also the fact that people are so disappointed in the party because of what they see as inadequate resources that the region has received, under the leadership of Madam Fado. And so these are major issues. The current development, of course, could have really, become an issue. But for these two, I mean, people aren't paying much attention to this. People aren't paying much attention to it. So that's why I believe that it's not gonna, worsen the situation. The two issues are already enough, and the party has a lot on its plate concerning those two major issues.
Okay, all right. So it means that
this one peel away. This one peels away.
Okay. So if the party is able to work on these two major issues, they have a chance in the Ashanti region?
How are they going to get Alan to come back? And now that we find ourselves in the current situation, how are they going to, sort of flood the region with projects? How are they going to do that? People are skeptical about the party's or the government's ability to complete some runabout project. And when they went ahead to clear the roadsides, closer to the place, especially where the people sell spare parts, they warned them. They warned them openly that if they, displace them, take them from where they work, earn their living, and are not able to complete the project, especially the flyover at some runabout, that there will be consequences. So all these issues are there. And I don't know whether they are going to be able to complete it. I don't know. We are in February. So these are major issues already staring at the party. And what happened concerning, the majority leaders issue is a child's play.
Wow.
Considering these issues already on the hands of the party and the government.
Doc, I'm grateful for joining us this afternoon and sharing your thoughts with us here. But still staying on this particular matter, the new majority leader in Parliament, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, is promising he will work hand in hand with the minority in the spirit of bipartisanship. The Efutu MP, who is now leader of the majority side of the House, says he cannot afford a parliament divided, especially with the MPP and NDC having equal numbers. Afenyo-Markin was addressing Parliament for the first time since he was appointed officially as majority leader.
Honorable Minority Leader, let me assure you that we're going to have a time of bipartisanship. I want to assure you of my commitment. The situation is when you are playing number 5, you are the defender. You are supposed to be abrasive. But now as a striker, I cannot use that strategy. So there will be no more A at all. We are going to work together because the happiness and the unity of this house shall materially depend on me. And I cannot afford to allow rancor to prevail. I just want to plead that in this hallowed chamber, let us do everything we can to promote democracy. Let us assure our people that we don't fight in this chamber. That in this chamber we discuss issues, we deliberate without personalizing it. I promise you that. And even as we go out there to talk to our people, let us make them understand that the essence of democracy is to discuss ideas. After all, both parties have had the opportunity to govern this country before.
Alexander Afenyo-Markin also admits his new role is a difficult one, but he will exert all his energies to lead a united MPP caucus.
Party NPP has honored me to be the primus of this great chamber. We've been struck with post-COVID consequences. We are having situation in Ukraine and Russia where, Mr. Speaker, world trade is being disrupted. So no government is having it easy. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure my colleagues that together I will be committed into ensuring that we work hard to break the 8. Honorable Minority Leader, Mr. Speaker, the Venerable MP for Swami, Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu, is an institution, no doubt. It's a big shoe I'm going to wear. And I recall Harun Eseku telling me that MPP is not easy to be a leader. And I know behind me are professors, doctors, lawyers, businessmen. They know it. It's going to be tough. But colleagues, I call on your cooperation. I call on your support. And I also, Mr. Speaker, invoke the support and blessing of those ascended leaders of this house to endure me with such fortitude, not to fail in this hour of trial.
So that's the new majority leader in the House, Alexander Afenyo-Markin. Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kweku Asante, still with me with more on a momentous day in Parliament. Kweku, let's talk about how this process was managed.
Well, so before you heard the Alexander Afenyo-Markin speak, I know you played the majority leader's speech already, pledging peace and explaining why exactly he had to resign. Kyei Mensah Bonsu, I'm talking about. Kyei Mensah Bonsu, after delivering his speech, now goes to the black chair and hands over the black chair and other things to the MP for Efutu, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is the new majority leader. So the viewers who are now catching up on all this, as all these unfolding issues in Parliament, now watch how Kyei Mensah Bonsu leads the days, goes back to the black chair and hands that over to Alexander Afenyo-Markin. And other members of the new leadership now take their seats. Watch. So the new leaders in Parliament have now taken their seat. You've heard there from Majority Leader Kyei Mensah Bonsu, who has read quite a lengthy speech, really talking about how this was really cordial. Let's go back to the floor and listen to the speaker.
A very emotional period there. Kweku is still with me now. Kweku, the minority leader, has been talking about this situation for the very first time.
Yes, he says he was really surprised to have heard that Kyei Mensah Bonsu has resigned and that he wishes him all the best for the future. He knows very well who the new majority leader is. They are all from the central region. This is the first time in the history of the Fourth Republic we have men in their 40s now leading the major parties in Parliament, and also these two persons are all from the central region. He wishes Kyei Mensah Bonsu all the best for his future and is ready to welcome and work with a new leader.
Mr. Speaker, news of his unexpected resignation hit all of us on the night of Wednesday, 21st February 2024, as we continue to ponder over how this House will overcome the huge void that he has created by his untimely exit from leadership. We cannot help, Mr. Speaker, but to respect his decision to take a bow. Without a doubt, Right Honourable Speaker, the venerable former leader of this House will be fondly missed. Just like your good self, Right Honourable Speaker, your contemporary, the Honourable OKMD, Kyei Mensah Bonsu, has left a mark and a permanent footprint that will probably prove difficult to surpass in the annals of our legislation for years to come. I dare say, Right Honourable Speaker, that his knowledge and experience of parliamentary practice and procedures can be matched by very few members of Parliament. Having been a Deputy Majority Leader, Chief Whip, Majority Chief Whip, of course, Deputy Majority Leader, Leader and Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, Minority Leader, Majority Leader, and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, he rose full cycle through all the ranks of both minority and majority front bench of this august House. Many include my good self, who attest to his leadership style, brilliance, rigor, and attention for detail, his unique, humane, and personable nature that has always commended by most people. Mr. Speaker, as he leaves the majority front bench now towards his final bow, my earnest wish is that he will be kind to avail his wealthy experience and knowledge to members of this House from both sides to tap in. I also wish to welcome and congratulate my colleague, my new colleague, and a friend, the Honourable Afenyo-Markin, as he takes his seat as the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, no more AATO. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, the majority leader had to cross his first hurdle today when the NDC demanded that the government names a new leader of government business.
Mr. Speaker, the designation read by your good self, the letter from the party read by your good self, and the designation by the immediate past leader of the House did not include the leader of government business. Mr. Speaker, the MPP may be the governing party, but they are not the government. And it is important for the government to designate someone as the leader of government business. As we speak now, Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Afenyo-Markin is the leader of the majority and not the leader of government business. So, Mr. Speaker, the right thing must be done. The government must communicate to you officially who the leader of government business will be. But as we speak now, he's the leader of the majority, but certainly not the leader of government business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I don't want us to debate this matter. But I can give you a bite, but I don't want us to debate it. It's not for us to decide, but please say a few words.
Mr. Speaker, I'm just going to the standing orders. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to the standing orders. If you look at page 5 of our new rules book, leader of government business, I would invite my colleague, the minority leader, to go with me to page 5 of the rules of this House, where he will look at, that is the interpretation clause, respectfully. And he's not saying include, he says means. Leader of government business means the leader of the party or parties in parliament which form the government. Ato, your question has been answered. This is it. No, it will be superfluous. It will be superfluous for the party to state that. It's been defined. Honorable Ato Forson, it is here. So, Mr. Speaker, there's nothing for debate.
Very interesting day in Parliament today. This is a pause. We'll be back after this break. All right, so welcome back from the break. Let's talk about our lead up to the election 2024 and how the supposed smaller parties are doing in preparation for the big day on 7 December 2024. Well, I have with me in the studio the presidential candidate of the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, Kofi Akpaloo. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, my brother.
This will be your... How many times have you contested so far?
Oh, this will be my second time.
Your second?
Yeah, the first time was 2020.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so 2020 was the first time. You were not here in 2016. But as we prepare towards this day, how's it going for the LPG really?
LPG is going well for us because 2020, around this time, we had not even started our campaign.
Okay.
This time around, we started our campaign from 2022, September.
Okay.
We've been campaigning, we've been going down to the people up to this time. And so the people have received us very, very well. And we know we're going to make a serious impact in the next election.
What has caused you to begin your campaign very early like that?
Yeah, because in the last election, because we started 6th of March 2020, and after a month, there was this COVID that we had to go for a lockdown. So we came back somewhere September, October. That was when we were allowed to campaign. So we couldn't do anything, and it had a serious impact on our performance.
Which means you began in 2019, because the lockdown was around 2019, thereabout.
No, 2020.
Oh. You began in 2020. Okay.
That was because we started 6th of March 2020. That's when we began our campaign. So this time around, we've learned our lessons. So we decided to start early to enable us to reach so many people that we can.
What message are you selling to the people of Ghana? You've had the two major parties, everybody trying to sell a certain kind of message to the people. What are you selling?
Oh, what we are selling is hope. Okay. We are selling hope. A better tomorrow. That is the theme for our manifesto. A better tomorrow.
Okay.
A new plan for jobs and wealth creation. Everything that we are going to embark on, the end results, should create jobs and wealth for our people.
Okay.
So in our government, we'll be the first party to introduce child benefit in this country.
Okay.
Every child below 18 years will receive payment in the form.
Every child below 18 years will receive payment?
Yes, every month. And,
okay.
Those who are above 18 years but unemployed, so the old men, including the old men and women who are not on formal pension whatsoever, will pay them unemployment benefit.
But do we know how much you will be paying these people?
Oh yeah, we know.
How much will you be paying?
We're looking to pay 500 cedis per child. Those who are twins, will pay them 750 per child.
Okay.
So if you happen to be a twin, you get 750 cedis, and then if you are like me, who's not a twin, you get 500 cedis.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's from 0 to what age?
18 years.
To 18?
Yeah, to 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what you intend to do that?
Yeah, because you see, the end result is what we should look for. Because when you inject this kind of money into the system, you are going to generate demand activities.
Okay.
So people have money in their pocket, they'll go out there, buy goods and services. And as they do that, if you formalize the economy, whatever they spend their money on, it will suffer VAT. And then the VAT will come back to the state.
Okay.
And then when the businesses are doing well, they'll pay corporation taxes, they'll pay company taxes. And then if they pay dividends, the shareholders will also pay income tax. Even the workers, they will pay income tax, that's the PAYE. Even the money that they're taking home, they will still buy goods and services, and then they will suffer VAT on that. So the end result is what we are looking at. So when you inject that money into the system, you are creating jobs, you are creating wealth. Because if your business is doing well, you have confidence to expand your activities, and that will require additional labor. Assuming you are running maybe a small business here in Kokomlemle here, maybe you are running Gary and Beans business or Banku or whatever you can think of. And then you decided to, because demand is going up, you can decide to open another branch somewhere. You yourself cannot be everywhere, so definitely employ people and they will get jobs.
Okay.
But you see, we want to stop importation of everything.
But I want us to take it one by one. Now, you say you're going to pay children, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how much it's going to cost you in a year for you to do that? Do you know?
We know how much it's going to cost us, but we have done the net outflow. The net outflow we are looking is 4.2 billion.
4.2 billion?
Yeah, Ghana cedis. That's the net outflow.
So that's what, a year and a month or what?
We are talking about a year.
A year, 4.2 billion.
Because you see, when you put $1 in an economy, it has to revolve around 27 times.
Okay.
You see, when you give money, you buy this will go here, this will go there, this will go there. It circulates. So it revolves around 27 times. So you don't look at putting this money and that it ends all. No, that's why I gave you a clear card that when you get the money, when you buy goods and stuff, the moment you spend the money, you are suffering VAT. The VAT will come back to the state. So I give you the money, but the money will come back in a different form.
Okay, so that's how you're looking at
yes,
for the money to evolve.
That's how economy should look like.
Okay.
You see, when you're running an economy, you have to always consider injecting money to the system to generate demand activities. Because if people are not buying, that economy will suffer. It's like blood. It's a blood. Cash is a blood. You have to flow in the economy. If it doesn't flow, the economy will stuck. You see. So you see the shirt you are wearing. Very nice shirt. Made in Ghana. Okay. So if people have money and they are buying this kind of shirts, those who are producing this will produce more.
Okay. And
then when they walk to the bank for a loan to expand their business, the bankers will be ready to give them the money because they know that whatever quantity that they produce, there's money in the system to buy them. Okay? So the banks will not be afraid to lend out. So running an economy, you need to look at all these factors. Other than that, if you keep everything to yourself, nothing will happen in the economy. You know, when you go to the advanced economies, they pay unemployment benefit, they pay child benefit, they pay this benefit, even they pay your house, your rent. If you are not working, they pay your rent for you, they do this for you. Not that they have more money than us, but they believe that when they inject those monies, it helps small businesses to grow.
Okay.
And the small businesses will employ people. Okay? If you have mommy and daddy's shop somewhere, at least it's occupying mommy or it's occupying daddy. Okay. Or maybe it's occupying a shop assistant. That person is getting paid every month. You know, so every small business we have to help all the small businesses to grow. Other than that, we don't have any economy.
I mean, my nominal, just checking, I guess that the money will be more than you're proposing anyway, but I'm sure you will look at it.
No, we know what we're talking about. We have done our calculations.
Yes, you're looking at 0 to 18. And I'm saying that if I look at the census that statistical service have done.
I said net outflow.
Yes, I get it. But I'm saying that
we have inflows and then the outflows.
Yes.
So the end result is the net outflow.
How much? Then I'm saying that it will be more than that. But that's fine. Let's accept it. How are you? Because we're in a country where government will complain that we don't have money. What's your source of funding this sort of initiative?
Yeah, we have money. If anybody tells we don't have money, it's a lie. We have money. Okay. You know, every year we borrow money to buy cocoa, aren't we? And when we borrow, we call that money what? Syndicated loans. And we borrow in dollars. Is that not it? But when we bring that dollars, do we use the dollars to pay the cocoa farmers? We don't give them dollars. We give them what? Cedis. So where do we get the cedis to pay them? It means the cities were sitting somewhere. And then we brought the dollar, and then we took it, and then even before...
No, but that's, you are exchanging. For you to get
so where is that money sitting that you are exchanging from? Bank of Ghana, is that not it?
So you take the money from Bank of Ghana?
Exactly. You have to inject the money in the economy. I will not borrow money to buy cocoa. When I become president, I will not do that. Because prior to 1992, we were not borrowing to buy cocoa. Why should we borrow money to buy cocoa and suffer interest and transactional charges? You see, we waste money. You know, the recent borrowing, we borrow $800 million. And then they give them two tranches. The first tranche was 600 million. Do you know how much came? It was 541 million. So 59 million went waste to advisors and all this, blah, 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 blah. We wasted the money. If we had not borrowed, or maybe we had borrowed from Bank of Ghana, the same amount of money, that 59 million would have gone to Bank of Ghana, and then the advisors, whatever, in Ghana here. Are you okay? Cocoa board, when they would take their time to sell the beans, when the beans money come, it goes straight to Bank of Ghana. Are you okay? So if anybody tells you there's no money in Ghana, we don't use dollar, we use cedis. So cedis who control the city is government. So when I become president, I have to be able to borrow money from Bank of Ghana to inject in the economy. Because if you go to Abubushi and so many places, people are sleeping in kiosks, containers and whatsoever. And if you borrow money to build housing, I don't say anything wrong from Bank of Ghana, because if you want to build houses, cement, iron rods and everything, you buy them in cities. Okay? If you want to do our roads, why should we go and borrow money whilst we can get the money sitting in the Bank of Ghana? So it's about how we organize our system. But we believe that what the white man will tell us is what we should always follow. When we went to UK, in the dollar, between the dollar and then the euro or the sterling, the same exchange rate has been since.
It has never changed.
It has never changed. 1.25 to the sterling. 1.26 to the sterling.
But it changes then.
No.
1.25 and 1.26.
It's around the same margin.
You mean the increase is not too huge?
No, it is same, around the same. But look, when I was young, the CD to the dollar was 33 pesos. But now, how much? It's 13 cedis. Why? So something must be done and done properly. So because of our dependency on the dollar, running our economy, that is why we keep on suffering. People are suffering. So if you are a worker like yourself, you are a worker, they pay you, let's say, 5,000 cedis a month. That 5,000 cedis cannot take you anywhere, because the moment you get that money, when you convert them into dollar, it's less than $400. It's less than $400. What can you use the $400 for? A whole month? You can use it for anything. But if you're able to manage if you take away this dollar dependency, and everything is CD, you want to get 5,000 CDs, you'll be a big man.
How superior is your plan is that you'd pay salaries to young children and also older people. That's the sort of policy you're bringing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is to ensure that money revolves in the economy. Now, so how is that superior to, say, a 24-hour economy being proposed by the NDC? How would that be superior to, the plan of the MPP industrializing the economy, creating factories in many of these?
You see, because I didn't have enough time to tell you what we would do, but I'll say something here.
But you can complete what you do, then you come to my question.
Aside this payment, we are also looking to set up a $10 billion job fund. We are using a figure, a $10 billion job fund, to assist the young people who carry visions, to go into business, to realize their visions. We believe that when they do that, they will employ themselves and they will employ other people. When we are in government, we're going to stop importation of rice, we're going to stop importation of poultry, Because after 6 months in government, there won't be any importation of poultry here. Because it doesn't take more than 2 months to get a broiler ready to the market. So in government, I should deliberately find money, give it to poultry farmers, make sure they produce more than they are producing now to feed us and also export to our neighbors like Togo, Burkina Faso, and Niger, because we have the same problem. So I'm not thinking of exporting to Europe or whatever, where there will be too much conditions and whatever. But within our neighbors here, we should be able to supply our neighbors. So deliberately, you put about less than $500 million to the poultry farmers. Let's say you get about 50 farmers, give them $10 million. You ask them to produce enough for our consumption. You are not going to import poultry. You create jobs and you create wealth. Now,
how much can the $10 million produce?
The $10 million, it can produce a lot. It can produce a lot. If you give $10 million to the aqua farms, or you give $20 million to Topman farms, they will produce more than they are producing now. So deliberately you give, when you inject $500 million into the economy to produce poultry, my brother, we can feed the whole country. Okay? We can feed the whole country with poultry. We will not even need to import anything to this country. But remember, when you are doing that, people will be thinking that, oh, those who are importing are going to destroy their business. They are not going to destroy their business. You direct them to go and buy from our farmers and bring them to the market. Even they will rather give them advance payment, so they are going to help them to produce more. Okay? So we have to create a deliberate policy around what we consume. Dresses, whatever, we should import them. We should give people money to start producing the shoes we wear, the dresses we wear. That's what we are going to do. Everything that we consume here. And also, you have lithium, you have bauxite, you have this. You should have a deliberate policy to add value to them. If you don't add value to them, you are not doing anything. You are harming yourself. So as a country, when we are in government, we are going to make sure we deliberately find money to inject in adding value to our natural resources. Because over here, if you build a refinery to add value to manganese or bauxite, you are creating aluminium, okay? You are creating alloys. And the end result is that you are going to have a manufacturing plant to produce vehicles here without importing vehicles, engine blocks, everything, even airplane parts and the rest, you can produce them here. Because most of them are produced with what? Bauxite, and bauxite comes from some aluminium, comes from bauxite. So this is what we are going to do. We look at our economy, we realize that there are a lot of young people who have brilliant ideas, but they don't have help. So in government, we are going to target these young people, support them with the needed capital to enable them to realize their vision. Because a person like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, they started when they were young. Steve Jobs and the rest, they started when they were young. But in America, deliberately, they identify these young people, give them the needed support for them to realize their vision. But here, you have to struggle to get your own thing done. And people are not able to dream big, to think big, and do big stuff because they are afraid that they will not get the necessary capital to do whatever they're supposed to do. But I want to promise Ghanaians that when I become president, you can dream any dream that you want to dream, and we'll support you to make that reality. You see, when you go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 28, it says, lack of vision, the people perish. Lack of vision, the people.
I thought you said lack of knowledge.
No,
my people perish.
No, this is lack of vision.
In the Proverbs that you quoted.
Chapter 29, verse 28.
Okay.
And then when you go to the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28, it says that a time is coming that I, Lord, will pour my spirit on all flesh. And then your old men and women will see dreams. And the young people will see what? Visions. So if your young people are going to see visions, and they is telling that lack of vision, the people perish, it means vision is very, very important. And I have the conviction that every young person around has a vision. But what they need now is they need their support. So when I become president, it will be on my neck to make sure every young person, whether you are an NDC, you are an MPP, you are Frafra, you are Dagati, you are an Eve, you are whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are a Ghanaian. And then we're going to turn this country into a land of opportunities for every young person to make it right here. Without traveling, you can sit here and make it. You know, we have AI, okay? Young people should be taught how to, turn their ideas into something. So when I become president, from basic school, from primary school, okay, you will learn computer programming. It's going to be compulsory subject for every young chap from basic school, primary school, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. You will learn computer programming. So by the time you reach SS, you can do a lot of applications on your own. Not necessarily, we want to create billionaires. That is our target. We want to create millionaires and billionaires in this country. And it's possible. We can do it.
Will it be taken from the Bank of Ghana to do this as well?
Why not? It's our money. If the money is sitting there. Now let me take you to Russia. When we had this Russia and Ukraine war, you know, the EU and then the Americans gave a whole lot of restrictions to sanctions to the Russians, and thinking that the Russia rubles is going to rumble, okay? But before they realized, they were depending on their rubles, and now the rubles has been strengthened. Do you know why? Because you have to use your brain to do things. You don't allow anybody to sit somewhere and be dictating to you. You have to use your own brains to act to what you have. So what they had was that, hey, if you want to buy from them, you have to use rubles. So now you have to change. The demand for rubles went high, and anything that demand goes up, definitely you have to pay more. Yeah. So this is what we do. If you have our cocoa, you have our gold, you have our diamond. But now, as it stands now, most of our these natural resources are not ours. We have given it to foreigners because they will take 90% and then give us 10%. When I become president, those things will not happen. Because we need to bring Ghanaians together, to put resources together, to do big stuff. Now, if I call Methodist or Pentecost and I sit down with the chairman of Pentecost, that, Mr. Chairman, you have a lot of people following you in this church. They have money. Some have money, some don't have. But if you can get, let's say, all your members to come together and put resources together, they can run this industry. You see, if, let's say, 1 million people in Ghana here decide to bring $1,000 each, it's $1 billion. If 1 million Ghanaians come together and say they are contributing, let's say, $1,000 each, it's $1 billion. You don't need to travel out to go and get that money. You can bring Ghanaians together and collectively they invest their money into something. You may not have the know-how, you may not have the technical know-how, but you can employ people who have the know-how and work for you.
But that's already happening, isn't it? Where people form partnerships to establish businesses, Ghanaians. But I mean, we have industries in Ghana that Ghanaians are running. They are like what you're saying. You let them come together with money and then they set up to employ people, isn't it?
Good.
And I'm saying that's already happening, isn't it?
Yeah, good. But your oil, who is running your oil? It's Tala Oil and Adako Cosmos Energy. Who is running your gold? Your gold is Newmont, Anglo Gold, Gold First. They are running your gold. Okay. Now then, the latest one is the lithium. They gave it to some young chaps in Australia. Okay. No, I don't believe that. I believe that we need to form our own company, owned by Ghanaians, flow shares, strengthen the Ghana Stock Exchange, the stock market. Let's strengthen it so Ghanaians will understand. That is why when you go into LPG manifesto, we are saying that from basic school, right from basic school, we are going to teach our kids savings and investment culture. So that by the time you finish school, you understand what they call savings and investment. Because people get money, they think what they're earning is less, so they cannot save. If you're earning 500 cedis, you can still save 50 cedis. So assuming you are earning 450, you will survive on the 450. So you can't tell me that if you are earning 500, you cannot leave 50 cedis and save. But if you understand that part of life, that savings and investment will lead you to become a millionaire, then you no matter how much you're earning, you still part some and save it. That is how we are going to teach our case, because we know that our capital market is not strong. In Africa, our problem in Africa is capital formation. We are not able to come together collectively and put monies together to do big stuff. That's why when you go to the book of Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 to 6, it says some people came together to build the Tower of Babel. They came together collectively to put the ideas, to put everything together, to build that tower. And God said, because the people are one, whatever they plan to do, they will execute it. Now, when you go to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1 to 6. It says, cast your bread, and then in the future you have it. You know, when you go to church, they will tell you, oh, to abo don't you go up on another chonsabeka. It's not that.
Isn't government doing that already through the T-bills that
treasury bills is part of investment, you understand? That's not the kind of investment we're talking about.
Okay.
They're talking about funds, okay, whereby you bring money, I bring money, and then you have a purpose that these funds, we are investing into this.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we will say, we can even go beyond Ghana and go and invest. If you take Newmont, who is the owner of Newmont? Newmont doesn't have a single person as the owner. Okay. Collective investment, they have put together and they are running Newmont. And they are taking all our goals. Okay. Now, when I become president, I want to help you. The one who is watching me here, I want to help him, myself, yourself, and then we all put our monies together. If, let's say, we are 1 million people, and this person brings 100 Ghana this morning, this afternoon, 100 Ghana is 100 million.
Yeah.
So, you see, but my 100 cities cannot do anything. But if collectively we all put that money together,
it becomes something.
And then we can invest into something.
So how superior is this to the two proposals from the two parties? Your plan.
You're talking about a 24-hour economy.
Exactly, 24-hour, and this one is also saying I'm going to industrialize.
You see the 24-hour economy, you yourself, you know. Assuming you are in Tetrim or Ahafo, in Mim, and somebody comes to tell you that I'm going to build 24-hour economy there, and then you also accept it. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with your thinking. If you are in Ogoso or Achirinsua, or maybe for Badebe Chalk, and somebody walks to you and says, oh, we're going to build 24-hour economy here, and then you carry some t-shirts and then you are jumping and you are dancing, that there's going to be 24-hour economy there. There's something wrong with your thinking. How is it going to happen?
But the party says I'm going to do...
No, where in Ghana will this happen? Where in Ghana will this happen that they're going to be 24-hour economy somewhere? Do you understand what 24-hour economy is? It means the 24-hour economy, like this daytime, what is happening is going to happen everywhere. Let me give you one typical example. This company, Joy, they run 24-hour.
Yes.
Is that not it?
Yes.
But the number of people who work in the daytime, are they the same number working in the evening?
No.
Because in the evening, you don't need the accounts people. You don't need the marketing people. You don't need the human resource people. You don't need the administration. Even the drivers, you don't need all of them.
It is because the conditions are not there for these to be here. But the party is saying
that... Condition?
No. The party is saying that I will create it, that people can work in the night.
And then you also believe that it's going to happen. Because in the night, what you need is only the presenter here, or maybe a software who is doing the night thing. And then maybe the DJ who is playing music. And then the technician. And then the security people. These are the people you will need here. You see, in the night, who's going to buy advert? That you will need the service of an accounts or marketing people or the sales people. You don't need them. So if somebody tells you that it's going to run 24-hour economy, it's a hoax. The person is misleading you. So if you don't understand, I know say you are doing, what do you call it? You are being the devil's advocate. So you're asking me these questions, I understand. But I know it's not you. But those people out there will understand that, Charlie, it's not going to happen. It's a lie. Because the person who is proposing 24-hour economy is also telling you that he's not going to allow the restriction on importation of goods and services coming to this country.
Okay.
You know, the last budget, when KTM went to Parliament with some kind of restrictions on importation, they were fighting. So if the same person comes back to tell you he's going to do 24-hour, what is he going to do?
I hear. Okay, but do you have what about representation in throughout the country? I mean, regional basis. What's?
Oh yeah, we have men and women who are representing the party everywhere. Yeah,
including
parliamentary candidates. Oh yeah, it's not every constituency that we are going to put a candidate there. We are going to be measured and then make sure there are some constituencies that we believe that we can do well there. That's where we put candidate.
But you have offices in every constituency?
Oh yes, we do.
The constitution
not all the constituencies.
Okay.
But we have the 189. We have
189.
Yeah, that's the requirement from the EC. That you have 2 tests of all the constituencies in the country, and we have.
All right, Mr. Palu. Thank you for coming. I wish you all the best. I'm sure 2024 will come. We'll see.
But I believe you vote for me after hearing me.
Well, like they say, everybody's vote is secret.
Okay, I understand.
No, yes.
But so you don't want anybody to know.
So when you get into the box, then you decide.
But compare mine to the 24-hour economy and then vote.
But you're not only fighting against 24-hour economy, you're also fighting against...
because there's no much time. Because there's no much time for me to talk about Bawumia. I would have, because you mentioned 24-hour economy, that's why. Okay. But if you have given the time to talk about the Bawumia, then it would have been different.
So if I ask you, what do you have to say about Bawumia's plan?
Because you don't have enough time, so I don't want to...
I can give you a minute for you to do
a minute will not be enough.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Palo.
It's a pleasure.
This is still the pulse. Now, Movement for Change leader Alan Kyei has begun a tour of some of the major markets in the Greater Accra region. The tour, which started at the Makola Market, is the former trade minister's way of introducing himself to voters in the various markets. Some of the enthusiastic supporters have been speaking to Joy News. We can go live to our reporter Kenneth Jesse for our update on this tour. Kenneth, what has Alan Kyei been saying? Okay, so Alan is speaking now. Let's listen to him.
We've had two dominant parties for the last 32 years. 16 years between the two parties. Both parties have ended their 16 years with the IMF. So it is obvious that it's time for Ghana to move forward to look for an alternative. And from what you've heard and you've seen around Greater Accra today, the people are asking for Alan to become the alternative going into our general election in 2024. Because there are four things that they want to see in a leader. One is vision, the other is competence, the other is integrity, and the other one is being action-oriented. And throughout my life in politics in Ghana, all these four competencies have become evident. And I can say without a doubt that if you are looking for a safe pair of hands as a leader for Ghana going into the 2024 general election, it will be Alan Kyei. And my record is clear.
Okay, so you said when given the opportunity to answer some taxes, what are some of these taxes that you consider nuisance and you don't want to answer?
Now, first, I've said that we have to reform our tax structure. That's where it starts from. It's not a question of picking one or two taxes and then abolishing them. If we reform our tax structure, taxes will automatically come down. If you go to the advanced economies, the tax structure is such that they earn more revenue from direct taxes than from indirect taxes. It is the opposite in Ghana. In Ghana, we pile a lot of taxes on import duties, which affects the competitiveness of business people. But that's the wrong way to collect taxes. Bring the taxes down for businesses to survive. And when they survive, then they can employ more people. When they employ more people, you can get more taxes from income tax and from corporate tax. In all the advanced countries, that's the tax regime. So just eliminating one or two taxes does not solve the problem. We need to change and recalibrate our tax structure. That's the first thing that we need to do. Thank you. All right. Okay.
Well, from the battle, the Movement for Change, let's cross over to the NDC, because the NDC has assembled some 200 technocrats in a national policy dialogue to deliberate over policy issues for the party's campaign. The team, consisting of experts from diverse fields, has been tasked to determine key policy areas centered around the party's 24-hour economy. My colleague James Aveji is at the dialogue and joins us live with more. Aveji, tell us a bit more about this dialogue and the latest as we speak.
It's actually organized by the NDC and their research team. They call the National Socials Lab. And this is aimed at assembling all of these experts in order to task them to determine some policy directions for the party going into their manifesto drafting for the 2024 elections. And so this is actually just some preparations towards what direction the NDC's manifesto will be taking. Remember, the flag bearer actually talked about the 24-hour economy. That is the major flagship program he has talked about. And so our understanding is that all the policy directions must be centered around this 24-hour economy by the flag bearer of the party. And so it is actually coming to an end today. Started yesterday, coming to an end today. The flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, arrived not too long ago. This is actually happening in a closed door session. The media is not allowed in there yet. We are told the flag bearer would be addressing the gathering, and that is what the media will be let in. But we are privileged to have a member of the legal team of the NDC, lawyer Edwige Tamaklo, joining us to let us in into what they have been so far since yesterday to now. Counsel, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, we know that this actually started since yesterday. We are told that this is not to draft the manifesto for the NDC, but to determine some key policy areas. What exactly are these experts expected to come out with at the end of the day?
Thank you very much. As you are aware, we already have the People's Manifesto, the 2020 manifesto of the NDC. And if you recall, some of the policy initiative in the 2020 manifesto included a 24-hour economy policy proposal. What we are basically doing is that from 2020 to date, there had been a lot of interventions. And so we want to have a situation where we can engage researchers, persons from academia, experts to help shape these policy programs and proposals that we put before Ghanaians in the year 2020 to firm them up for the purposes of the 2024 election. And as you rightly pointed out, yesterday, the national chairman of the party opened the session. Today, H.E. John Dramani Mahama is here, as it were, to sit into or through the program to understand what the experts are also saying, so that ultimately we'll come out with a workable document that Ghanaians generally would accept. And that is what exactly we are doing today.
At the end of today, are they coming out with a working document as a white paper that you'll be presenting to the manifesto committee you'll be constituting to work with?
Already, as you are aware, the party has already inaugurated a manifesto committee. On Monday, 27 committees of the party were inaugurated, save that we didn't do a lot of fanfare with it, because we recognize that the problem facing Ghanaians are not matters about fanfare. They are quite serious matters. So basically what we are doing is that after this, obviously, whatever advice they will be given is not a matter for public consumption at this moment. It's purely for the use of the party internally to shape how we proceed going forward. And that's basically what
I'm sure there are various sectors of the economy. What are the key ones of interest for you at this point in time?
Finance. I mean, the economy. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was in opposition. He has something that he always says. He said, when all is said and done, the economy is the pockets of the Ghanaian. I think that is profound. We want to focus on getting the pockets of the Ghanaian loaded. Once people have money, they can do many other things with the support of the state. Critical is the 24-hour policy program.
That's what I want to ask. How is it selling so far? It's been a few months after your flag bearer said this. How is it selling to the public so far?
Thankfully, I do not want to rely on what I think. One credible researcher or poll institution, Global Info Analytic, I think they've gotten a good name so far. They have come out with the latest report, whereas
So that's from the Pediasi Resort, where the NDC is having this conference where they've assembled some 200 experts to look at how they can help in the drafting of the manifesto, especially on the 24-hour economy. Well, this has been our package for you today on The Pulse. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Remember, there is more news on myjoyonline.com. Thanks for being a part of it. We appreciate it. We'll meet again some other time. Do enjoy the rest of your day.